Us! Here we are. It's actually it's a Monday because everything is everything. Everything is busy. It's just the way that it is. But look at this face. Look at this face. This is the face of a girl who is divesticles of her testicles. Yatta! Unfortunately, it's also the hair of a girl who hasn't been able to wash in like 3 days. Because there's like this whole assembly of tape. They're like, you want to keep it like snug and not all moving around while it's healing down there. So we're gonna like tape that shit up, and you can't get it wet. Now they did say I could wash my hair in the sink, but like I've done that before. It sucks. It ain't no fun. So it's just, it's what it is. But it's done. Done it. Did it. It's done. I had some money came in from my folks a couple of days back. Like 3 days back, actually, because I can take a shower today. So 3 days back. And it was a lot of money for me. And I don't think it was an insignificant amount of money for them either. But it's a cost that they to tell me that they could weather fine, but it was more than enough for me to pad out the last of those savings. And I took the day off of work and I went into the Western Union and I got it cashed out, and I zipped over to Ginza because that's where the clinic was that was recommended to me. And I rocked up into the clinic and I was like, hey, so my doctor said y'all can do this thing here. And they're like, who are you? Do you have an appointment? And I'm like, so about that, no. I was told that I wouldn't need one. So I just decided to show up because this is how I do things. And I'm like, well, so who's your doctor? And I'm like, this doctor at this clinic. And they're like, okay. And do you have like anything? Do you have like a diagnosis of GID? Which, I think is mostly just a cover your ass kind of thing for them in case like, I don't know, I was super unhappy with it, and they could point to paperwork and say like, look, she came in, she had her papers, because we didn't do really any, it's not my clinic, which turns out actually it's a plastic surgery clinic that does a lot of work with trans folks, which is why it got recommended to me. And as a sideline of that, they'll do testicle divestment. So, it wasn't like I just rocked up to some random place. But they're like, okay, so look, we'll talk to our doctor, see if we get you in. And they said, hey, we get you in 4 hours. Which is a lot of time to blow in Ginza. Now, I guess technically I could have gone home and then turn around and gone back. And I was just like, fuck it. Like, we're going to rock around in Ginza. We'll kill time for a while. But, like, what do you do in Ginza? But interestingly, like, the gallery that I've been telling y'all about is right down the road from the fucking clinic. And when I say right down the road, I don't mean like it's in the same general neighborhood. I mean like it is a minute down the road from the fucking clinic. So I got myself some lunch. Had some real nice kapow rice, which was delicious. Haven't had Thai in a hot minute. It wasn't a fancy Thai restaurant, but it was Thai. It was good. I enjoyed it. And I went down to the gallery, and they had this really neat show from this dude, Sakamoto Shinichi. And it was all about this manga that he's done. It's a reimagining of Dracula, but where everybody is kids or something, and they're in a boarding school. It was really cool. One of the few times I've been to like any kind of gallery or museum or anything where like, of course you've got all the explanations were in Japanese, but then there was like a just as full translation of the explanation in English too, so I didn't have to do like the mental translation, and I could just like read it and kind of absorb what was going on there, and it was really cool. The artwork was amazing. As a lot of talking about this character of Lucy in Dracula, but in this story, and she's like, I don't know if it's just meant to be like a trans allegory or a bi-gender allegory or a DID allegory or all of those things at the same time, but like during the daytime, she's Luke, and when talking about Luke, and consistently like the pronouns were he, him, but then at night she's Lucy and she's free at night, and consistently the pronouns are she, her. Mentioned very specifically that when she dies, like to become the vampire, and how she's buried as Lucy, even though she's known during the daytime as Luke. And that, I thought there's a lot of interesting stuff there that I haven't read the story, so I can't really unpack it, but like that was really super cool. So I hung out there, and then I realized that I left all my medical information, because the girl carries that whenever she's doing medical shit, which is why I had my GID diagnosis on paper that I could show to the clinic, because I keep that shit on me when I'm doing medical stuff. I left it in like a public restroom, like the only accessible restroom in the area in Ginza. I was looking around like a girl had to go. So I had to rush back over there, and luckily it was there. I don't know what would have happened if anybody had stolen it. Like, I guess they'd have my medical information, but what the fuck would they do with it? I don't even fucking know. And, you know, just killed, I just wandered, basically. I mean, it's for the best that I'm not drinking anymore, because, like, I don't think getting drunk before a surgery would be a great idea, because alcohol is a blood thinner, and you just, like, they tell you when you're getting piercings or tattoos, like, don't be drunk because you'll bleed all over the fucking place. So probably, you know, if you're getting your works cut into, that probably goes double for that. But like, I would have used that time, had I been a drinker, I would have used that time for drinking, because that's what, you know, you do. You just wander around and you drink. But I didn't. I just wandered around, basically, and tried to kill time and not destroy my phone battery, and come back to the clinic, and they were, like, super cool. It was, like, I mean, beyond the fact that, like, it got done and successfully, but, like, the nurse who was talking to me, and either I was having a really, really good language day, or she'd accurately gauged my language ability and changed her speaking to match that, which does happen sometimes, but it is, honestly, if I'm going to be, you know, 100% is kind of a rarity. We talked about last diary entry, about, like, navigating as a second language speaker and how much that can suck sometimes, but, like, I could understand everything she was saying. She was very thorough. She was very efficient. She made sure that I understood, like, from top to bottom. Wasn't trying to talk me out of it or anything. Was just like, you know, here's the facts. Here's what we're going to be doing. Here's the results. Here are the potential complications. Like, gave me the full scope, like how to do the aftercare and everything, in a way that didn't feel like she was talking down to me, but that I was able to actually fully understand and, like, incorporate in my mind. And I mean, some of that probably because it was very important to me, so I was devoting perhaps extra, you know, brain cycles to navigating this conversation, but, like, it felt like a natural conversation that would work, and that alone was almost worth the price of admission, except not really, because the price of admission was like 200,000 yen, so, like, you know, also want to be getting rid of the works. When they got me in, they, you know, put me on the table and everything, and, you know, eventually, you know, they had to get the surgery theater ready, and, like, everybody was ladies, and I thought they were all going to be ladies. I thought that the doc was going to be a lady, and the lady that was in charge of, I guess, like, head nurse who was in charge of, like, not to get too embarrassing, but, like, disinfecting the region and applying the, you know, the topical, not a Novocaine. Novocaine's for your teeth, but, you know, like, the nerve killer. The topical point of that, as opposed to, like, the injection, which was going to come later. I thought she was my doc, but then, like, some dude came in, and I was like, "Aw, you know, that kind of sucked." Not like, I mean, I wasn't super happy to have my junk out in front of, you know, all these ladies either, but, like, it was a little bit more of a comfortable feeling than also having this guy there. But he was professional. He was super cool. They got the I had to do, this is gonna be more than 10 minutes, I'm sorry, it's gonna go on for a bit. I had to do nitrous, and I'm gonna tell you right here and right now, there's folks who fuck with nitrous, and good on them. I hope they enjoy it. Not me, though. Like, I didn't enjoy that. It felt like being asphyxiated. I was starting to panic. I kept on like pushing the mask away so I could get like fucking air, because it does. There's just like it feels like there's just a heavy. This because it's what it is. You know, it's a heavy gas. It's very like chemically tasting. That's being like pushed into your lungs, and they're telling you to breathe it. So you're trying to breathe deep because you want to follow the instructions. But at the same time, it's like, this is killing me. Like, this is how people die. It was like, please stop, please stop. And eventually that part was over, and then it was weird, like, they kept on telling me, like, hey, you can tell us if you're in pain. You know, like, you're allowed to tell us if you're in pain. You know, this is during the procedure. They've already given me the injection, and, you know, they're cutting away and doing their shit. And it was like, I'm not gonna be tough girl and say like, oh no, this is like cool, this is super, I do this every day, because it wasn't that. It was deeply uncomfortable, but like, it never crested over into pain. Like, actually, like, oh no, this is agony, you gotta stop. Like, this is, every nerve ending is telling me to tell you to stop. Like, it never crested up to that. There was a lot of pressure, where you're not generally enjoying having pressure. You know, a lot of feelings of like pulling, you know, because you know you're awake during all of this. But it wasn't pain. It was very novel. You know, there's nothing I'd experienced before, and I'm just trying to kind of process that in my mind. And I guess, you know, they're interpreting my face with that as pain, and they're like, no, it's cool, like, you can tell us. And I was like, no, I'm chill, this is just weird. But one of the nurses came over and she was like massaging my head, and like, you know, this physical contact, the physical touch, and the things that you do to people, and how they may have different meanings to people, and like how the responses to those things are, and how it could be misinterpreted. Although I don't think it was really a misinterpreted thing, but I was thinking about a lot of things at that time, and you know, how I was just reading outside of me, because like it was so unexpected, and I was so touched. No one has touched me like that since before the divorce, and it was so comforting, and it was like, I don't need this for what I think you think I need it for, but damn, do I need this right now. Again, almost worth the price of admission right there. It was super kind. I don't know if that's part of their normal procedures or what, but she obviously saw that I needed something, and she thought this is what it was, and it was, but for different reasons, and it was a lot. It was an experience, a good one. Like, everything about this was a good experience. But the doctor was yoinking them out, and like, he announced, like, I don't know if that's part of the normal procedure either. Maybe just like letting me know to not worry, or let the staff know, like, oh, this part is done, so I need another nurse to come over and take it away so we can do the next, you know, section. I don't know why he said this, but he's just like, got it out. And I'm like, yatta! Like, actually, yatta! And everybody laughed. Like, I hope they thought it was endearing. I'm sure, like, I'm not the first trans girl that they've done this procedure for, and I highly doubt that I'm the first trans girl who was like, yatta! When she got her nut taken out, but like, yeah, like, I laughed, they laughed, everybody was having a good time. See the struggle with the second one, it took like a while. I could hear him muttering under his breath, like, I couldn't pick up what he was saying exactly, but he didn't seem super happy about it. But they got it out, you know, they got it out, it's fine. And it was like, okay, you know, you're all good now. When you're feeling okay, you can sit up. And so, like, as soon as I heard sit up, like, you know, processing different things at different times. So, like, I caught the part about sit up before I caught the part about, like, if you're okay. So I just, like, sat right up, and everybody was just kind of like, are you sure? Yeah, let's go. And I was like, because I didn't want him to think I was a weirdo. I mean, I don't really, on one hand I don't care, but like these are all, they've been really good to me, you know, they're very professional, they're doing their stuff, they've been super kind, and I'm like, is it okay if I take pictures of the nuts you just joined out? And their answer was like, "Mochiron," which is like, the tone in which, I mean, it's, of course, but like the tone in which they said it is just like, it almost felt like it would have been weird had I not asked. Like they would have suggested it if I didn't bring it up first. So that was also comforting. I didn't feel like quite such a gorehound. But now I have ethically sourced pictures of removed testicles. I'm still trying to think of what to do with them. I want to make them into like a little meme or something, like put little eyes on them. Frowny faces, like how dare you betray us, you bitch. I don't know. So there's that. The weird thing, if you don't do a lot of work, or if you haven't had a lot of experience with like the human body, and the human body in pieces, by the way, like I feel like it's very easy to think that certain parts of the human body are larger than they are, particularly like facial stuff. Like teeth are tiny. Human adult teeth, not particularly large. You'd be surprised. But they, like, you've got your tongue against them all the time, and, you know, your face is very much a focal point of your being, so you kind of notice them a lot, and they feel big in your mouth, but when they're not in your mouth, they're really, really small. Eyes, too. Ask a girl how she knows that one. Okay, so, there was a dude that I embalmed who blew off most of his face with a shotgun. Rifle? I don't know. There was like there was pellet in his cranium, like in his skull. It was a whole fucking thing. Don't want to do the story because like every other part of that story is deeply fucked up and wouldn't make anybody happy. But I did get to see this dude's teeth that came out of the bag when we pulled it off his head, and his eye was kind of, one of them was hanging to the side. It was pretty small, and so you would think your testicles would be roughly the same kind of experience. Like they're large in your mind, maybe, like if you're a trans gal and you kind of think you're kind of forced to focus more on that part of the body than perhaps you would like, just because it's something that makes you very uncomfortable, and maybe you try to force your mind away from it, kind of thing. And it's a whole thing, but like you think that they seem big in my mind, but from my experience, when things are not actually a part of the human body and they're actually relatively small. Oh no. They were quite large. I don't know if that's normal. I have no comparison points. I haven't seen a bunch of them lined up or anything, but like, holy shit. I guess I could understand why you're having trouble getting them out, but like, also the incision, I was claimed. I didn't measure it. Nurse, when she was explaining it to me, was like, we're gonna pull these out through an incision 1 centimeter long, which now, again, ask me how I know. This one's a lot nicer. The human skin is way more elastic than I think you would expect. I did suspensions in the past, so you got to experience that firsthand. It was great. Highly recommend suspensions. If I haven't recommended them before, you should do them. They're fucking awesome. But even still, like, it seemed like there was a pretty large thing to pull out of an incision that's like, the incision's a centimeter long. So, holy shit. Like, it's great. The last couple of days have been pretty miserable because, healing in that area, going from a sitting position to a standing position has been fairly difficult because everything is on the fucking floor in my apartment. There is no space here for chairs. I do not have a bed that is raised off the ground, so I'm always either on the floor or getting off the floor, and that has been tough. Tried to go to work yesterday, and I ended up only doing a half day because it was just like, it was too uncomfortable to just be on my feet all day, and the constant like small shifts that you have to do and bending over and picking shit up, and it was like not happening. Today was much better, and like tomorrow I should be able to do work again, and I really honestly have to. I told I got to the lunch break and I was like, hey, I told you guys I was sick the other day, but the honest truth of it is that I got surgery done. And I thought I was okay, but I really do think I need to get home. Now, in honesty, I could have probably gritted my teeth and done the last 4 hours of the shift, but like, you know, I really wanted to be home. First off, they're like, surgery, oh my god, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay, I just need to not be here. And my doctor is like, my boss is like, was it your leg? Because, you know, because I've been limping, because it had gotten pretty hard to walk, and going up the stairs was not great on it, so I was kind of limping a little bit. And like, yeah, I didn't want to tell, I'm not gonna tell, but like, I can't honestly also lie and be like, oh yeah, like I busted my knee or something, because that's gonna be really obvious, because that's a long-term damage. And I'm like, it was kind of an embarrassing place. And he was like, okay, I'm not going to ask any more details about that then. And I'm like, thank you, can I go home? And he's like, yes, you can go home. And that was my last 3 days. Now I got to do a whole bunch of shit, because the girl is always fucking busy. I got cooking, there's beans that are soaking, they got to be boiling. I got to edit some shit up, I got to make a new set, because I don't know why I'm making sets in LBP 1, because Little Big Planet 1 is not great for recording sets, but I've got like this idea in my mind, I'm just going to do it. It's not even going to be special, it's just like a, well, you can see it right here if I got it done. This little space set, just to see, like, I guess just to see that I can do it. I'm in a great mood! Like, I'm in such a good mood. The world is fucking on fire. We didn't even have time to talk about that, because we're already over 20 minutes, holy shit! But everything sucks in the world. But for this small, brief point in time, I did a major thing with help. It was thanked for. I appreciate the help. But it also means a lot that, like, it would have taken longer, but I could have done it myself. And I did it. I did it. Like, you know, that has meaning. No matter what else comes out of this, like, this was a really big thing. I set my mind to do it. I gave myself a goal. I said we're going to do this much saving every month, and I held myself to that, even though it was really, really hard, and we did it. And here we are. And shit, we've spent so long. This is gonna make so many songs I'm gonna have to put in this fucking thing, because, like, oh my god, it's but I mean, it's like, it's been a whole couple of days. There's a lot of news to say and talk about, so we're done. We gotta be done. I'm so sorry. Maybe we'll talk about all the shitty stuff that's going on in the world in another diary. I'm sure we'll talk about it on stream, because, like, we talk about that on stream all the time. Join our streams if you want to hear us talk about how the world's on fire, but also about, like, horror movies and manga and all this other weird shit that we always talk about. But done. From me, Disco, here in Tokyo, but not from my testicles, because they're in the garbage. To all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.